What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today is July the 30th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today. Before I get into any of that though, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, no real data points today, same as yesterday. So more of a technical driven day alongside this right here. So companies unveiling their earnings. You have a couple big ones today, Sofi, PayPal, BP, many others. So once again, I'm going to go over some of these because they are making the list based off of the volume. Starting off though with fear and greed index, it is at 46. So people's appetite for risk is still somewhat there. Not as much as it was last week, but still needless to say, the market is very green right now. Starting off with SoFi, it is up roughly about 3.68%, just unveiled their earnings. So it came in for the revenue, they did beat. So it came in at 598 versus right here, 566 the forecast. And so it came in line as well with the earnings per share. So generally good stuff. They also did have, I think it was up 41% for member growth, if I remember correctly. So 643,000. And yeah, generally good stuff. Products is up 36%. That is year over year. I'll do a dedicated video all about that. I believe that the earnings call is going on right now though. So today I anticipate shorts to really return some shares. 17.24% of the free float is being shorted. One thing that I was kind of surprised in though is it still being in the sevens. And not a bad thing, but I was anticipating both extremes. So I did sell both calls and puts. I went rather heavy on the calls, but I did sell $9 calls because I was anticipating for it to get to roughly the $9 range, $8.50 to $9. And so this is why it's beneficial to sell options, because then you pretty much get the premium. So if SoFi doesn't go over 9, I basically get like $450 for nothing. Vice versa, I did sell $6 puts because just in case SoFi was to have horrific earnings and it dipped below $5, I wouldn't mind buying at 6. So that's kind of the parameters I had. So in essence, I'm going to get some pretty good money unless something dramatically changes right now, but it's kind of flat. So a lot of people were anticipating extreme volatility, but nothing really happened. So we'll just have to wait and see, and pretty much 750 will be a strong pivot for SoFi today. PayPal did phenomenal on their earnings, up 9.09%. It's not heavily shorted, but I just want to bring this up. So 1.97% of the free float is being shorted. So definitely don't really consider that anything. Actually, if anything, I'll just close that because it's not really relevant. So right now with it at $63.90, again, doing fairly well. It is trading between this pivot and this R1. So 61.18 is a strong support, and then 65.42 is a strong resistance / target. So in my opinion, if anything, it's just going to stay within this range, might possibly retrace back to this pivot right here, but that's just my own opinion, of course. And it's kind of funny, I actually have been covering PayPal under my other channel, Financial Journey, and I said that this was a big catalyst that was going to propel it to roughly 65. So hopefully it does continue, or at least touches that, but yeah, hats off to those individuals like myself that bought in at the $57.50 to $58 range, because that was a screaming buying opportunity. Moving on from that, going back, so this stock that I'm going to be talking on is defying this, so people's appetite for risk, because this seems to be just going up like crazy. And so I did a dedicated video about SERV yesterday and how it is a very unique circumstance and a very true pure squeeze play. So even though nothing is really coming out from the company to really drive it higher, which is kind of a red flag somewhat, but when it comes down to a momentum play, I don't think a lot of people generally care, because shorts are increasing consistently, even yesterday. So 23.04% of the free float is being shorted. You see that they just doubled the hell down yesterday. It is on the threshold list. 3.48 million shares overall are being shorted, and utilization is 94.58. So the reason why this is a pure squeeze play is because if people continue to buy this stock, driving it higher, shorts no doubtably are going to be margin called at one time or another. And in a normal stock, such as even SoFi that is heavily shorted, they hedge with call options. But with SERV, there is no options. So they're kind of naked. They are wide open, exposed. And so yeah, in essence, that could be, this is a very unique circumstance, and it could really go up very fast as long as there is consistent buying occurring. So definitely something to keep in mind. No point going over fib levels because it is above everything, so take that with a grain of salt. This isn't for amateur kind of traders, because yeah, this could go very south very fast, but again, I do anticipate more upside in the short term, but logically, kind of just do your own due diligence. So this stock, ticker TWOU, so TWOU Inc. That's kind of weird. So this is one of those stocks that is down 98.15% over this last 1 year, but it is this news that really is kind of propelling it higher. So July 25th. So it's just one of those very interesting scenarios that, again, somewhat heavily shorted stocks, they get some news surprises individuals, and then as a byproduct of that, it kind of just dominoes for that for the next couple days. That's what is happening with this stock. There's absolutely no news to really justify that. A lot of people are rather bearish on it. This is what they do, so you can always pause it and read through it. And so yeah, I think in reality, this is maybe their last ditch to really push things higher. But yeah, it's a kind of a unique circumstance with it right now at $2.63. So clearly it's starting to turn south a little bit. It is trading between this S3 and this S2. So once again, it's kind of, in my opinion, it's kind of on its deathbed. So even though this is getting a abnormal amount of volume, I still would say avoid this one, in my opinion. Of course, you guys do whatever the hell floats your boat, but you can kind of see how it did have this kind of push right here to the $3 range, and now it's kind of pulling back. So yeah, this is one of those ones that could go up, but is it justified? No. So again, do your own due diligence. Uber is surprisingly, even though you don't see much happening for the price action in the morning, it is getting a lot of volume. The only news that came out was this. So Uber Freight drives significant growth in Canada with innovative LTL solutions. So yeah, this is a kind of an interesting stock. I haven't really looked at this ever. Actually, I think IPO, I kind of looked at it vaguely, but it's not heavily shorted. So 2.31% of the free float is being shorted. Utilization is very low. Short score 28.48. So definitely not a squeeze play. With it at $64 and change, it is trading between this S2 and this S1. So 63 and change is going to be the strong support, which I don't really anticipate being touched today unless the market does turn south. And then 65.66 is going to be the next strong resistance. Keep in mind though, so tomorrow we do have I think it is ADP employment and then payroll on Friday, but PAL is coming out tomorrow. So that during today's power hour is really going to probably cause, you're going to see some abnormal volatility, right? And same goes for right here after hours today. You have Starbucks, Microsoft as well, AMD, all of which could really shake the broader market as well, right? So there's going to be a lot of volatility this whole week. That is a massive understatement, but it should be very fun. So like I've kind of stated, if you guys do not know options, just pop over to my Lucid dedicated channel. I go over very basic stuff, just buying and selling calls and puts, just very basic amateur strategies. I go over a lot of kind of explanations, but in all honesty, the best way to do it is just get your feet wet and try it. And yeah, sometimes I do in my video go over your max loss, so you can pretty much try it out, lose maybe $10 worst case scenario, but at least it gets you experience and tries it. Because yeah, in essence, losing that $10, $15, $20, whatever it is to practice is a lot more advantageous. So then you can kind of become a better trader in the future. Because like I said, just this week, because I sell weekly Sofi options, usually for the most part, both calls and puts. And yeah, I pretty much make, like this week, it's going to be around 700 just on Sofi alone. So yeah, I highly recommend you guys saying that. I almost say that every single video, because on my channels, like I try to educate as best as I can, and options is, in my opinion, one thing that scares a hell of a lot of people. But it can be very beneficial. Just a lot of people like to treat it like gambling a little bit too much. But yeah, aside from all that, enough of me ranting. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And with all that, appreciate all of you watching.